as soon as they got my evidence, it felt like they were like, wow, we've got a problem here. And suddenly it felt like it went away from the institutional and working with the club, they tried to make it about individuals. And that's why, unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, some individuals have had a really tough time. But I didn't present my evidence like that. It was never intended like that, and that was never the allegation. But that's what the club, the lawyers, and the panel in particular have tried to do. I mean, to make one thing very clear, Paki is not banter. Racism is not banter. And for a person of colour, I think there's 3 people of colour on that panel, and one of them, Chief Executive, I think he's associated with National Asian Cricket Council and CEO of London Tigers, an award-winning charity organisation working with rugby and football clubs. For him to come out and do an article where he stands by the finding that Paki was used as banter, it just shows the scale of the problem we have.
There's a report, in the report there's mentions made of your drinking, that you were a heavy drinker during your time at Yorkshire. What is your view of them linking your claims of harassment to your drinking?
Well, look, I've been clear from the offset. I wasn't perfect. There's things I did I felt I had to do to fit in and try and achieve my dreams. And I'm not proud of them. It's something I deeply regret. But it has no relation to racism. I should have never, ever been treated the way I got treated. When I spoke, I should have been listened to. But Yorkshire Cricket Club and the game as a whole really has a problem in listening to the victim. And it's been gaslighting, it's been, but there is no but to racism. There is no 2 sides to a story when it comes to racism.
Were you ever forced to drink alcohol before you were 18 by other people at the club? And how do you view the harassment you suffered for undertaking, answering the call for prayer?
Yeah, look, my first instance of drinking, I actually got pinned down at my local cricket club, and red wine got poured down my throat.
How old were you?
15.
15, you're a Muslim, 15.
15-year-old, I got literally down my throat. The player played for Yorkshire, played for Hampshire, and yeah, it was quite a experience. I didn't touch alcohol till about around 2012, and around that time I felt like I had to do that to fit in. Like I said, I regret that massively, but again, it has no bearings on the things that I was called, and really around the loss of my son, the sort of attitude of Andrew Gale, the coach, saying to me that I'm making it more than what it is before the loss. After the loss, hardly ever anyone saying, actually, mate, are you all right? Is your wife all right? It was all about, well, he raised bullying last year. Before he raises something big, let's get rid of him.
And the harassment over the call to prayer as well, that you've seen? Yeah,
look, obviously, myself, I don't remember having that, but I know certain other people. I've seen another player fasting, for example, and if he made a mistake while fasting, from the strength and fitness conditioning coach to the physio to coaches and fellow players would be blaming him for any mistakes he made, as opposed to actually understanding that.
That's at Yorkshire?
That's at Yorkshire, yeah.
Okay. Tell us about Kevin and Steve, what those names signify in Yorkshire cricket.
Well, look, Steve, once I left the club, Chiteshwar Pujara joined the club, and Jack Brooks, I think, started it where he didn't feel the need to call him by his first name. There is an interview with Chiteshwar where he said, I'd prefer them not to. But not only did Jack, the coaches, everyone else, the media, Yorkshire Post, the Yorkshire website, the Yorkshire Twitter page, everyone called him that. Commentators around the world, some high-profile people. It just shows, again, back to what the institutional failings and what that environment showed people and how they could behave. So that was a Steve point. Kevin was something Gary used to describe everyone of colour in a very derogatory manner, whether that be publicly, whether that be within the dressing room, whether that be opposition. This is an open secret within the England dressing room. This is anyone that's come across Gary would know that that's a phrase he used to describe people of colour. It was used in a derogatory manner all the time.
So you're saying there that effectively in the England dressing room, they use the name Kevin to signify people of Afro-Caribbean origin, is that correct?
Anyone of colour.
Anyone of colour?
Anyone of colour.
And is it true that there is an England cricketer as well named his black dog, Kevin, as an in-joke?
Yeah, that is true, because Gary and Alex Hales at the time got really close to each other when they played for England together, and that's my understanding. Obviously, I wasn't present in that dressing room, but that's what I understand, that Alex went on to name his dog Kevin because it was black.
How do you view that?
Well, it's disgusting, to be honest, how much of a joke it was. As I said, till right at the end, I was in complete denial as to what was going on. It was only around back end of 2017, and when I lost my son, I went, you know what, hold on a minute. I've seen other players who have family tragedies and get support beyond measure, and I've just carried my son from the hospital to the graveyard, and how I'm getting treated here is not right. And to me, it became very clear that even myself, that I'd been looking the other way. And there's a real problem here, not just Yorkshire, throughout the country. And I'm going to be the one that's going to speak about this.
Thank you.